All right, so today we are talking about onomatopoeias. Everyone say onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia.
All right, so we are going to talk about that. An onomatopoeia is a form of words or a word that is a sound. You're thinking a word is a sound. What do you mean? What about if I say buzz? The bee buzzed around. You hear that word buzz. It's not just a word, but it's also a sound, right? Just like if we say creak, the door creaked open, it's also a sound, right? It's not just a word. Okay, so if we're looking at today we're going to read a poem and it has some onomatopoeias in it, okay? Boy Leon, shut your book, please. You're being distracted. Thank you. So, we're going to read a book or a poem that has onomatopoeias in it, and we're going to pull out and find those onomatopoeias after we read it. So, a free verse poem is poetry that does not conform to a regular pattern or rhyme. So, the poem we read about Thomas Edison the other day rhymed, right? Free verse poems don't have a pattern and don't have to rhyme, okay? They can just be a poem. We'll talk more about that later. So, when we talk about onomatopoeias, an onomatopoeia is the use of words that sound like what they mean. The words imitate sounds associated with the object the action refers to, just like bee buzzing or door creaking. Or the clock ticked, right? The tick-tock of the clock, right? And that actually rhymes. Okay? So, there's going to be a couple words in our poem that we might not know. So, let's do some background vocabulary information. The driver must engage the clutch to make the truck start is an example of one of our words. What do you think the word engage means in that sentence? The driver must engage the clutch.
Twist or pull?
Close. He said twist or pull. It's to attract, or hold the attention. So engage means he has to use or get the attention or hold that, right? Okay. In science class, we studied centrifugal force, in which subjects or objects seem to move away from the center of their circular path. So, I'm not even going to have you guys guess what centrifugal means, because you probably are like, that's a word. So, it's the force that causes an object to flee the center in a circular path, okay? So, it means, how many of you guys have seen, there's some videos going around of people doing spin art, where they put random paint on a canvas and they connect it to a drill and they turn the drill on and the paint at the center of it goes out in kind of a circular pattern, right? Because it's spinning in a fast circle. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of centrifugal. It's going out from the center in a circular motion. Does that make sense? Okay, the reckless driver skidded around the corner and collided with a tree. What does reckless mean? Keegan?
Reckless means dangerous, something like that.
Dangerous or not paying attention, right? They're being dangerous. Unconcerned about the consequences of their actions. They're not cautious, right? So go to page number 10 in your reader workbooks, okay? Page 10. Or textbooks, not workbook, I'm sorry. Textbook page 10. Alright, you should see a roller coaster, so you'll probably need, yeah, it should come across your pages right. Okay, so make sure your book is, it's sideways, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So your roller coaster is going like this, but the poem is sideways. So if you want to turn it, go right ahead. Now, let's listen to this before we do anything else. So just listen to me read it. It says, jolt, The crackling track, jingling roll forward, heart rise. Clickety rickety, grittery, grittera, underfoot. Engage gears, joggle forward. Cranking, creakle, cranking, crawling like a caterpillar. Hauling gravity up a mountain. Will we make it or roll back? Groaning motor makes one more pull and over the top in a sweep of wind and fear vibrating wildly into sheer joy of rush. Slam against a curve impossible to shoulder. Lurch left, tip right. Desperate grip slides down the cold bar. With a roar, sling, centrifugal, loop up and out. Will my shoe fall off? Swoosh. Back into my seat. Laugh, scream. Deep breath quick before the next descent and swerving reckless. Rumbling run sky for ground. Face fist dazzle dive. If I live, I'll never. Swing up from under the world. Through 3 swoop turns. Plastic people below blur. Whir away, disappear, reappear. Right themselves. Still smiling from years ago when we left the planet, but suddenly slowness slurs. Creakle, crank, stop. Let's go again. Exactly. They said they didn't want to, and now they're saying let's do it again. But have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Been on a roller coaster and been like, I'm never getting on this thing again. And then by the end of it, you're like, that wasn't so bad, right?
Yeah.
I've done that. Hold on a second. I've done that before where I get on the ride and I'm like, I don't ever want to do this again. And then by the right time the ride's done, I'm like, that wasn't too bad, right? So there are a couple parts of this poem that seem to make no sense, does it? There's a couple and you're like, what are you talking about? Because all they're saying are onomatopoeias, right? They're just saying a bunch of sounds. And so to them, now think about when you ride, if you've ever ridden on a roller coaster, okay? Who has ridden on a roller coaster? Most of us. So about half of us, not bad. So when you go on a roller coaster, especially if it's a high one, they have to go real slow up that first hill, right? And you hear like clink, 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 right? And then you feel the wind go down when you're going down. You feel it swishing past you. It's rocking you back and forth, right? And you're screaming or laughing. So now let's listen to this poem. Jolt and clacking track. So that's the sound of the track, right? Going up that hill. Jingling roll forward. My heart rise. Clickety rickety. I don't even think that's a word. Cricketa, underfoot. Engage gears. Joggle upward. Cranking, creakle, cranking. Crawling like a caterpillar. Hauling gravity up a mountain. So it's hauling and fighting against the gravity going up, right? Will we make it or roll back? So it's saying, are we ever going to get up there or is it going to stop and we're just going to go backwards? Fix yourself. And sit correctly, please. Groaning motor makes one more pull over the top in a sweep of wind and fear vibrating wildly to sheer joy and rush. Slam against a curve, impossible to shoulder. Lurch left, tip right. Desperate grip slides down the cold bars. So just think of this. You get to the top, and then all of a sudden you're zooming down, and then it's taking you to the left and the right, and you're like, I'm not, and then you're shoulder to shoulder with the person next to you, right? Charisma? Yeah, was it that tall yellow one?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yep. With a roar sling centrifugal loop up and out. Will my shoe fall off? Swoosh, back into my seat. Laugh, scream, deep breath, quick before the next descent and swerving reckless. Rumble, run, sky for ground. Race first, dazzle, dive. If I live, I'll never. Swing up from the from under the world. Through 3 swoop turns, plastic people blur, below blur, whir away, disappear, reappear, right themselves, still smiling from years ago when we left the planet. Did they leave the planet? No, but they're saying it's like a spaceship, right? But sudden slowness, slurs, creakle, crankle, stop, let's go again. All right, we're not talking about those right now, okay? So, what are some onomatopoeias that you saw in this poem? Keegan. Cranking. Bella.
Clickety rickety.
Good. Stacy. Good. Who else? Ben. What was it?
I think it was Greta.
Yeah. Samara.
Crinkle, crinkle.
Crinkle. Okay. Charisma.
Crinkle.
Yeah. What about slam? Boileon?
Swoop.
Swoop, yep. Keegan?
Dazzle.
Dazzle. Mary?
Rumbling.
What was it?
I think rumbling.
Yep, rumbling. Bella?
Roar.
Roar, yep. Roar, yep. Boileon?
Vibrating.
Okay. Charisma?
Swoosh.
Swoosh. Yep. Do we see any others? I think we got a lot of them. So, do you guys understand what an onomatopoeia is?
Yes.
Keegan?
We forgot goggle.
Which one?
Goggle, whatever it is.
Oh, yep. All right. So, go ahead, put the textbooks away. Charisma? Yep. Good. Put the textbooks away. Get out your workbook. Get out the workbook. Back. Okay, tell me later because remember I'm recording, okay? So we'll talk about it later, okay? All right. Oh, yeah. You two need books, papers, don't you? You have one, though. Mm-hmm. You just don't have math. Get in your workbooks, go to page 5. It has a kitty cat on it. It says, sort them out. Write each word under the best category. So it reminds us, an onomatopoeia is using words that sound the same as what they mean. So we have the word zoom, hiss, roar, splash, crash, creak, meow, tick-tock, trickle, beep, gurgle, honk, howl, squeak, drip, bang. Okay? So you're going to find the water sounds and put them here. So zoom, is that a water sound, an animal sound, a house sound, or a transportation sound? Samara?
Transportation.
Transportation. So you're going to write zoom under transportation sound. We are going to write zoom under transportation sound. Stacy, we are going to write zoom under transportation sound. Thank you. What about hiss? Grace.
Animal sound.
Animal sound. Good. Now, in a minute, you guys are going to do the rest of those by yourself. Look at the back really fast. Page 6. Look at page 6. Everyone look at page 6. Good. So, look at each picture and write a word to describe the sound the object might make. So, your answer might be a little different. If that's a bee, what sound is he going to make? Bella?
Buzz.
Buzz, right? So those pictures are, we have the bee, we have the bird, a pig, a balloon popping, and pop, like soda pop. Okay, so you're going to write those in just a minute. Boy Leon, mask up, hand sanitizer, please. Thank you. Okay, a sound poem. So we talked about free verse poems. Now we're going to talk about a sound poem. Use the words in the box to complete the sound poem. Purple is the blank of grapes between your teeth. Is it the rustle of grapes?
No.
Is it the yip of grapes?
No.
Is it the squish of grapes?
No.
Maybe. Is it the honk?
No.
The splash? Maybe. Or the chirp of grapes?
No.
No. So we said it could be squish or splash. I think it's which one? Squish. So it's the squish of grapes. So then you're going, yep. So then you're going to do the orange, blue, black, red, and yellow on your own. Okay? I am mainly going to be grading the front side of page 5, but I will be looking at page 6. So when you are done, you are going to turn it in, okay? Any questions?
No.
All right. So turn in page, both sides completed, but I'll be looking at page 5. Thank you.